Hey everybody, I'm going to do a follow-up video of my 535i 2011 Gran Turismo video. That video got quite a few views, and I'm going to do a top 10 things that you must know about this car. And I'm going to go right into it because there are some pretty cool features about this car. Firstly, the cup holders are adjustable. You have these two sort of adjustment knob things. Right now it's on the smallest, and this is good for a standard plastic water bottle that you'd buy. You can push it down to fold down, and you can fit something a bit larger. And then if you put this one down as well, then you fit the largest, which would be like an extra large or something like that. If you want to make it small again, you see the arrow, you push and they'll flip back up. This one is just similar. You have that tab, just pull, push with the arrow, and then you got a bigger again. Cool feature. Number two, when you press the start-stop button to turn the engine to half on, you'll notice that the steering wheel moves. So it has easy access, which is, I think, is pretty cool for a 5 Series, I guess, a non-SUV type of vehicle. Number three, diving right into the infotainment here. So if you don't know, this car does have a hatch, and the hatch is actually adjustable. So you go to the settings, you go to tailgate, and you can adjust the height of the hatch. So this is actually very important because, for example, at the maximum height, where I park this car in a condominium, in some condominiums it's actually too high and it hits, and I've actually hit the hatch numerous times now. So we lower it to this height, and actually in this height it still sort of hits. So sometimes you actually have to use this height, which is pretty irritating because it's quite low, and then I need to press the button on the back to raise it up a little bit. But again, it's pretty cool. You can adjust the height. Number four, more tech. Okay, so remember, this is like a 9-year-old vehicle now. We purchased this in 2010. If you go to the camera button, so basically if you manually select the cameras, so I press that, and now you'll see it defaults to the it'll default to the two front cameras on the side there, and this is basically pointing to the right of the vehicle and pointing to the left of the vehicle. Now if I press the parking, it'll show you my parking angles. Now the cool thing is, again, as old as this vehicle is, this has the arrows and the tracking for the vehicle. Depending on where your steering wheel is positioned, it'll tell you the trajectory of your vehicle. It has a very, very accurate radar system, so it tells you exactly where distances are between the object and the vehicle. Another very cool thing is, and I think I might need to start the vehicle, is that you can toggle between the rear and also the top-down function. So the top-down function, actually, what I'll do is I'll actually pull out. There you go. You actually see it already. So if you can see, you got the 360 bird's eye camera, and this is something that car manufacturers are only sort of basically advertising now in 2018, 2019 year models. So the fact that this car has had that technology for many, many years shows just how ahead of the time this vehicle is. I think we're on 6 now. This, I also mentioned in my first video, is a touch censored shortcut for your radio stations or whatever, or you can actually program these keys. So these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 across here, you can program where these shortcuts go to, and if you forget what shortcut they actually go to, if you just hover your finger over top, it will tell you what the shortcut is. So as you can see here, my shortcut 8, it's not just for This is not just for radio stations. You can see my 7 is not assigned, but my 8 is my flat tire monitor. Very, very cool. All right, moving on to the left side of the steering wheel here, we have the number 7. And I'm going to talk about the cruise control. This is basically the most advanced cruise control system you will encounter and use short of an adaptive cruise control. So in traditional cruise controls, you can set it. You can set your cruise, you activate. You can activate your cruise, and then you can set your cruise, and you can resume. All of these have that, but this is the speed adjuster. Now, speed adjuster has 2 clicks. It can go click 1, and it can go fully click up. You can increase the speed by increments of 10 by pushing all the way up, or increments of 1, and it going down is the same thing. You can decelerate by 1 or by speed of 10. Now, say you're cruising at 120 kilometers an hour or 65 miles per hour or whatever, and suddenly the car in front of you sort of slows down quite a bit. Now you can actually decelerate your cruise by holding this down, and that will jump your cruise control down from 120 kilometers to 110 to 90 to 80 very, very, very rapidly. And when you're decelerating the cruise control rapidly, the set speed, in this vehicle, it actually will brake the vehicle. So it will apply brakes, and it'll sense that, oh, you need to decelerate quite rapidly, so it will actually decelerate the car. Whereas in all other traditional cruise control systems, it doesn't do that. What you do is it just basically kills the engine and lets you coast until you hit that new set speed. So that's again a very advanced cruise control systems, short of short of the current adaptive type. All right, moving on to number 8. This is not actually a cool function. This is just something I want to point out. You will see here that the paint on the fan switches, the switches that you're probably going to be using the most, this is what sort of happens to them. So just be aware that this is normal. I'm not sure if BMW remedied this problem in 2012 or the 13 or like the 15 up facelifted models. You can see that even on the passenger side, under very, very seldom use, the fan is also sort of being the paint. I don't know what's going on. I actually don't really know what's going on, but clearly there's some deformation of the logo. The next thing I want to show actually is, and I will start the car this time, and I'm going to open my garage just to show everybody how ahead of a time this vehicle it was. I mean, just look at those LED lights. I mean, like, this is 2010. This is 9 years ago. I mean, these look really, really cool. As you can see, really, really, really cool rear lights. I think it's actually one of the best looking rear lights you can purchase. And number 10, this has basically the headlights that will move with your steering. So I'm not actually sure what the technical term of that is, but as you can see, I'm going to move my steering wheel, and you can see the lights sort of move. It's very, very slight, but they are moving. And if I go back, the lights move. It's actually just the right light. So let me point out the wall. So I'm going left, and there you go. You see that light moving left. And I'm going back right, and you can see that light moving right. So these have the adaptive lights. And once again, I just need to point out that this is a pretty old car now, so there's a lot of cool tech. This car has remained very relevant over these years. This shifter is still being used by BMW to this day, this style shifter. And another cool thing is, I mean, I guess that this will be a bonus, but I don't really find it that cool, but it's sort of cool, I guess. But if you go to drive, and then, I'm not sure why this isn't focusing. If you go to sport mode, and then if you press park while you're still in sport mode, it will automatically move over, like has a mechanical function. So that's sort of cool, I guess. And yeah, like that is the things you need to know about this 535i GT. It has been a great car for us. It hasn't had many issues at all. Actually, it hasn't had any issues. We have not a lot of mileage. We have 85,000 kilometers on it. We have changed the tires to standard tires, and it has made a big difference in ride quality. It's a much more plush ride, and it steers much lighter now. So the steering used to be very heavy and tiresome, but now it's much more normal. It actually has decent feel. We put on Pirelli all seasons. And one more thing I'm just going to note is this is one of the first cars that BMW came with the split digital and analog dash. Now they've obviously moved away from this now and gone full digital besides the rings, but this was again one of the first cars to get that. And of course we have the lane departure and lane assist buttons here that your knee actually does hit if you are 6 foot like myself. But anyways, I digress, and if you have any questions or comments, please put into the comment section below, and thanks for watching.